Oh yeah! Oh yeah! Oh yeah! Welcome to another episode of Elevated. I'm your host, the Elevated Engineer. All right. So I said I wasn't gonna do this, but this is what you niggas want. Oh, you know what? Honestly, I think it's kind of important to not just focus on the higher level, you know what I'm saying, chakra points, but you kind of got to focus on everything too. That's my way of saying we about to look at some nigga shit. Since nobody really cares about the whole Killer Kyle murder house verdict, he got not guilty on all charges. We gonna focus on some nigga shit. All right. So a brilliant job of editing by the homeboy mediocre tutorials and reviews. Very smart brother, very smart. He recently did a well, he didn't do analysis. He did a very good, brilliant editing job of it's a few different sources. I'm gonna show you the video in a minute. Just want to give you the build up. It's actually another Brittany Renner interview with Kevin Samuels and some other. I think No Jumper also did slid some video in there as well. But it's very brilliantly done. And I will say that, first of all, I don't want to make this seem like this is like we're, all coming down on Brittany Renner. I mean, she is who she is. So I want to say, give a shout out to Kevin Samuels, mediocre tutorial reviews. And you know what? I'm also going to give a shout out to Brittany Renner because I believe that she serves as a valuable example of the thought hood. So let's go.
Mississippi. Yeah, do you know where that is?
No.
I am a gold digging, manipulative, evil, who has no real talent, who has sucked it way to the top, and is a overhyped, below average looking girl with clout who is only relevant because of her ass.
Well, damn.
You can't turn her to a housewife.
The world you live in, the world
And again, okay, to be fair, this is only a 15-minute video, right? So it's not like, we're actually getting the full picture of who this woman is because she's not a girl, she's a woman. And that's why I think this is kind of important. I think people need to kind of see mind of a thought. So she said that stuff. She knows who she is. Like she knows how the world sees her. She's aware. She's not naive at all.
Existing is pretty much foreign to most of the people who have something to say about it. Right. Where do you think people get that point of view? I mean, because you said the first thing is that you are a manipulative gold digger.
Yes.
All right. Whose gold have you done?
My favorite basketball team is whatever NBA player on the team. I love watching basketball. It's just way more interesting when there's someone on the team that I'm linked to, but I don't really have a favorite one, just player.
And from what I understand, the book, you told stories, you use different names, but all these people are celebrities and musicians and entertainers. Gold digging, has any one of these men said you go?
No. 11 athletes. Woo! 5 entertainers. Woo! 8 regular guys. Woo! I've only 3 regular guys since I've been Instagram famous.
I think that's important. Now, you could say she's being honest, and I think this is important for another reason that a lot of people haven't really said. Oftentimes, guys will have you're out with a girl, and for whatever reason, she'll always ask like, "Well, how many girls have you been with?" And if you want to give the answer, go ahead. But then she'll I've had many a times where a woman will often ask you or often tell you how many guys she's been with, even without asking. And it's always funny because they always seem to give around the same amount of numbers. So they'll always say, I mean, I'm not gonna, blow up anyone's spot or whatever, but they always say, "Well, I've been with like, usually less than 10, less than 15, around that area." So it's funny because it's like it's always in that range of numbers, and I don't think I've ever asked a woman how many guys she's been with, because at the end of the day, she could tell me whatever she wants, right? So she could say, "Oh, I've been with 5 guys," but how do I really know how many guys she's had sex with? And a lot of these women now be with women too, and everything else too. They just don't they don't tell you. So I think it's very interesting because I think she's being fairly honest. Um, and I mean, what was the number? She said 10 basketball players or 12 basketball players, and like 10 of the celebrities, at least 20 people plus. So, and that's just the people she admits. So I think that's very interesting of her, and honest, which is, I think, needed in this space.
There's no supporting evidence. I think it's just public speculation. I like to call them fan theories. Very interesting. Started my Instagram account the summer of 2012, and I just remember saying like, people are gonna know my name, like people are gonna know who I am. And probably a year after that, probably a year and a half, I did a video with World Star. So when I first started out, like I gained probably almost 100,000 plus followers from that video, and then probably 2 months after that, I got my first booking. So I used to be a special needs caregiver for adults. So that was my full-time job before I stopped to be a entrepreneur, Instagram model, whatever you like to call it.
What would you call it?
Social media influencer.
Instagram model, social media influencer. Okay, these are nice sounding titles, but that's one thing. What I want, the men and the women in this that are going to be watching this video to really kind of listen to what she says. She says she's put up one video and it got like 100,000 followers or whatever from one video. There's not one guy, unless you are a top level celebrity or whatever already. There's not. Well, I should say there's not too many guys that know what it's like to go from, I don't know, 5 followers to 100,000 followers or subscribers, whatever, YouTube, Instagram, from one video. And I think that's very important because you're talking about someone who doesn't live the life of your average girl, woman, whatever. So, and she said she did that in 2012, so that was 9 years ago. So, she was probably in her early 20s at that time. So that's the kind of level of, it's fame. It's fame. You can say what you want. You can hate and say it's not fame, but it is a level of fame. IG famous is a level of fame. It's a level of clout that, frankly, most people aren't really used to. Because whether you believe it or not, you get 100,000 subscribers or followers for one video. That's a very small form of power, but it is a little bit of power. You can get stuff that other people can't get. And I think that's what a lot of it is. So let's keep going.
Let's skip all the way to death.
Okay.
If you could do it all over again, would you choose it?
I see nothing about me, the way I am, the way I think, as shameful. Absolutely.
Why?
Being honest, I feel.
Well, we're going to get honest either way.
I would say that there's a lot of privilege that comes with this. You get to skip the line. And once you reach a certain level of status, really the world is your oyster. As far as, like, I've gotten acting roles simply just off my Instagram. Really been able to do different speaking engagements. I've been able to just, like, not have actually have to clock in.
She's been able to make a life out of it.
I would say yes, because I don't really take direction that well. I feel like, I'm self-aware. And I feel like in this position, I've gotten to make more money than I would have made being a special needs caregiver. And in turn, being able to not only kind of put myself ahead, but also help people around me. So I have been the breadwinner for my family. And to be honest, too, because, you know, I remember, the first time I watched you was when you were sitting down with those girls, the OnlyFans stuff. And they all got up and everyone was so mad and whatever. I feel like I've made a lot of money and I've blown a lot of money. Okay. And it's taken blowing money and really having my son and seeing reality for what it truly is, to be more mindful of it and start thinking long term. I mean, I think I'm an author first. I made 6 figures from my book. So, really? I mean, really. Yeah. So I would say I'm an author first. I've also acted, and obviously I'm an entrepreneur. So, I mean, if I'm using labels to best identify myself with, it'd be that. But
I don't know what I mean. Look, I've done a bit of acting. All right, like I've done a bunch of extra work, bunch of plays, bunch of small little side gig stuff just for fun, really. Those things aren't really that hard to get, really. You just kind of got to show up. And I mean, I don't know what films or movies or whatever she's been in. I haven't really seen her or anything, but you know, when someone says I've done this and I've gotten some acting, it's like, you know, like you gotta tell me a little bit more than that. Now, she said she made 6 figures from her book. Man, people are so obsessed with the 6 figures number, like 6 figures, 6 figures, 6 figures. Like, I'm there. I'm not gonna tell people how much I make, but I'm there. So it's nice, but okay, I'll say it's nice if you don't have a job. If you have a job, it's cool. But if you don't have like a 9-to-5 check-in job, yeah, I'm sure it could be pretty nice. But you also have to spend a lot of money to make that. So, you know, she needs to be trying to be a millionaire. Like, seriously. And I'm not taking away nothing from that either. Even really, I'm definitely not a millionaire. But, you know, even being a millionaire ain't what it used to be. And you really are going to have to do a lot to get that million. So, you know, if this is a thought life, this is what I was speaking about, because this is a thought life. You know, that money is like drug dealers. It's like, you know, that money comes fast. You know, it comes real fast, but it goes really fast. So, and it don't last. So, yeah, that's just one way of looking at the money. But you got to kind of parlay that into other things, because it's not going to last.
But I'm not just limited to any of those things. Definitely not. I've never been called a rap vixen. That's like a first.
Yeah, wow.
Fitness, I used to do fitness. I'm not passionate about it, so now I just try to help people write books. And there's a privilege that we have to acknowledge for
help people write books. Okay. All right.
Women. Well, it's easier in some areas.
Well, I mean, okay. So while you do get to skip the line, all this other kind of stuff, you also get labeled for doing things that would only make sense.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you relish the label, or do you resent the label?
You gotta take it. You gotta take it. You just have to
I love skipping the line,
accept it.
I hate when people call me a So who cares?
Do you think women look at your body or look at you on Instagram and judge you or hate you in any type of way for that?
I'm sure they do.
But you don't care. Where do you get your confidence from? Because you're extremely confident.
A lot of hoes are confident because they know everybody's saying everything
it's
about them.
Yeah, but women aren't that blunt just in public about that. Where do you get that confidence from?
I feel like over the past few years, I've gotten really comfortable just within the woman I am and who I want to be. So I do enjoy sucking. I like to talk about it. I wanted to do, the whole...
The Jill Scott. The Jill Scott. That's classic.
No, I was gonna say, do you feel like you've been self-conscious for so long where you get to a point where it's like a lash out, where I feel like you're comfortable in your skin and what you do and what you like to do, but to put it out on social media like that, do you feel like that's where it comes from? Like, for so long I felt ashamed about something, now I just want to put it out there?
Yeah, that's kind of how I've been learning, is in polarity. So like I was saying the other day, it's like I have learned to be strong from being weak for a long time. So it's like being degraded and feeling shame for just being and enjoying things that are very natural. I just kind of found myself owning it. So I'm just I'm not afraid of, I don't know really what people want, what they think and what they want me to be.
It's very interesting. The modern woman is very rebellious. This is why the modern woman, as Kevin Samuels likes to call them, this is why the modern woman is in a position in which she is right now. She's been getting advice from the women that came before her, and the women that came before her, be it the baby boomer generation, or she would be a millennial, Brittany Renner. So as a Generation Xers, a lot of the stuff what they learned was from Minister Jap did a really good special on a lot of the influences on the modern woman today. And if you go back to those movies, the music, No Scrubs, the Waiting to Exhale, all these types of movies, those women in those movies a lot of times were, very, very, in entertainment, were very selfish and very, they're all about themselves, rebellious. Who was it, Angela Bassett or Whitney Houston that burned the car and Waiting to Exhale? I forget. I think it was Angela Bassett. But a lot of these women of today, are here because of the previous women. So that rebelliousness of the modern woman is, at this point, it's pretty standard. I mean, we're talking about, and I think Brittany Renner is actually mixed with black and white, but she's black. She act like it. Come on. A lot of the women of today, this rebellious nature leads credence to the reason that so many women are single right now. I think that the thought life is quite detrimental, and it could be. Well, okay, so it's very detrimental, but it's also, there's a reason for it. Like, it's not like it just came out of nowhere. Like, this is the whole third, fourth wave feminism thing where women are sexually empowered, but casual dating is actually a lot more detrimental to women than it is for men. And that's just biology, lifestyle, whatever, what have you. So I think the reason that she is one of many reasons, I'm sure there's many reasons why she is like this, is because she's been taught that is about empowerment. But it's not necessarily empowering. It's actually disempowering in the long run, because again, being single, and especially being a single mother, is very, very difficult. And she's gonna find that out. I'm sure she knows it already, but it's only gonna get worse in the long run. So let's keep going.
I guess. Just not here to do all that. Because I'm so vocal, and just because it's like, it's hot under these lights, So it's like, I think dating has probably been the hardest thing for me. A lot of my friends, we just don't have the same problems, it seems like. You almost have to keep it going, because if I'm Brittany Renner and I've been doing this for almost 10 years now, and let's say I fall off and now I'm working at Target, it's not that that's a failure, but there would be ridicule that comes behind that. There was one time where I thought I was, being really badass, and guys in a week had a mean yeast infection. That's not funny. But
See, that's just nasty. That's nasty, and it's on the internet forever. Like, if you got a yeast infection, you need to go do whatever you gotta do medically, and live your life. But when you're putting it all out there like that, a yeast infection is probably the least of the amount of STDs that she's probably had or has. I mean, yeast infection isn't an STD per se. I think it's an STI, but still, like, with the amount of STDs out there, the percentage of people that have STDs, she already got a kid, like, this is the stuff that people are going to look at. And for her, unfortunately, this is going to stick with her for forever. Even though yeast infections, you can clear that up. A woman can clear that up pretty easily. It's still the fact that you're out there talking and bragging about it. That's kind of nasty. It makes me, as a guy who got his stuff together, it makes me look at it and say, she's bragging about it. STI or STDs that she's got, and now and before that she was talking about how many guys she slept with. And that's gonna follow her forever. But if this is the thought life, if that's the life she wants to lead, then so be it. Let's keep going.
It wasn't funny, but looking back at it, I could laugh. My end goal would be to utilize my youth, my beauty, this position.
She's already 30.
Opportunities in the now.
She's already 30.
The
youth is going out the window.
Hair company, skincare.
Brittany got me a Chanel purse.
Are you serious?
She's a sugar mama.
Wow.
Happy birthday to you. You want me to do my birthday?
Is that Tiana Trump? That's Tiana Trump, right? That's Tiana Trump. I didn't even notice that. Is that Tiana Trump? Oh wow, Tiana Trump. She's a porn star. She's a porn star. I think that's Tiana Trump, right? Oh wow, that showed you how slow I am. I didn't even notice that was Tiana Trump. Just look her up. So again, dots travel in circles. They travel in packs. They all gentlemen. Okay, and this is definitely for the guys. If you're dating a girl and her friends sell the box, as you will, she in one way or another is selling the box. You are your circle. So thoughts, they hang around in packs. All right, it's not just like, oh, I'm a thought, and girl is just a square peg. She's a shrew. No, they travel in packs. Hyenas. Arr, arr. I didn't even know, man. I didn't even know that's the Tiana Trump chick. Yeah. And they both light skinned. They both, they both. This is it. This is a thought life. Your friends are going to be thoughts. some are gonna be at different levels of thottery, man. It's all levels to this shit. But that's just the way it is. That's what they want. But the truth be told, that's really all they can have. Because a traditional woman, a woman who wants to be married, have kids, and support a man, support a family, all this stuff, they're not gonna hang with thots. They never have, and they never will. They might when they was younger. They might, oh, she's my homegirl. But after a certain age, I would say if you're still hanging around your thought friends after like 22, 23, then that's what you are. And a guy with experience like me, just keep it real, I'm going to recognize that immediately. And me being the kind of guy I am, I'm going to capitalize off that situation. Because that's what I do. But very important. These women are the streets. They're for the streets. Okay? What is the streets? Future is the streets. I'm the streets. Pookie and Ray Rays are the streets. Okay? We are the guys that we're going to take you, and then we're going to either send you back to the streets, or in the case of Future, have about 15 babies mother. I ain't mad at it though. But we are the streets. These women are for guys like us. Now, I do not make as much money as probably even half the guys that Brittany Renner or probably Tiana Trump has messed with. But don't get it twisted. They're still for the streets. Let's keep going.
I just didn't want her to be impressed by what any man could do for her. And she obviously could do that herself, but for me, I just felt like it was more of a sentiment, like, you don't need a guy to get stuff like this. So yeah, I mean, I think my biggest end goal is one of my bigger end goals is to have my own podcast. Because when I was pregnant, I used to watch your lives. You would pose so many questions.
I think Brittany Renner could do a podcast. And I'm just speculating. I don't think it'll turn out how she thinks it will, because who's your audience gonna be? Don't get me twisted. Okay. I think she could be successful at a podcast, but not if it's just about the thought life. Because about the thought life, that's just gonna get old. Who's your audience gonna be? Is it gonna be women? It'll be some women, sure, but it ain't gonna be a lot, because they ain't gonna be listening to that. Only ones who are gonna be listening are the thoughts, and not really, because eventually you gonna get old. And I mean, you could do let's say you do a Wendy Williams type thing. Well, Wendy Williams is not a thought. Don't might like Wendy Williams, but she ain't like that, so she's well respected. So other women are gonna listen to her. Guys ain't gonna listen to it because it's only so long I could listen to you talk about nasty shit. And I'm like, you know what I mean? If you're not gonna be doing like porn or something, then So let's keep going.
Questions that I did not have the answer to. I'm 29, and when I would listen to you, and people would get triggered. But I'm like, when you really sit down and you take away tone, you take away whatever people think about you, it's actually very helpful. If you're willing to listen, but a lot of people don't listen.
So, do you relish being the rebel?
I love it here.
When you're 60, what do you want your life to look like?
Okay. Very, very good question. And I like how Kevin Samuels is conducting this interview. I would suggest everyone go to Kevin Samuels' page and watch the whole thing. It's like an hour and a half. I watched it. I like that he's just letting her talk. He's not interrupting her. He's not attacking her, and he's not even asking about her sex. She's giving up the game. He's just listening. So that's kind of how old players do it. Or dudes who got their game right. Just listen. If you listen to a woman long enough, she'll tell you who she is. That's just because women like to talk. So I like that. But I wanted to just talk about being a rebel. You can be a rebel and not, and I'm no pun intended, but whore yourself out. You could be a rebel and actually build stuff that the world needs, or be an example that people should look up to. I mean, you think about it, Elon Musk is kind of a rebel in his Tesla car company that he's been getting. Initially, Tesla was getting a lot of pushback from the car companies that they didn't want electric cars to take over. They wanted, but he pushed and pushed and pushed. Other people in the black media are rebels. Tariq Nasheed is a rebel. Jason Black. I'll even give, to a certain extent, Kwame Brown. I mean, all these, these people are rebels, man. But they're not whoring themselves out. Hell, Yvette Carnell is a rebel. She don't. If you ain't messing with her, she people don't like her, because she tells the truth. So, there's rebels, and I don't really think that Brittany Renner is a rebel. I think she's doing exactly what, the algorithm is telling her to do. That's what she said earlier. You gotta, if she falls off, she's been doing this for 10 years or whatever, but she's doing exactly what the algorithm is telling her to do. The algorithm is telling you to be a thought, be open with it, have no respect for yourself, have no respect for really your kid who's going to be seeing this in 20 years, have no respect for, I think, I'm pretty sure she's biracial or something along those lines, but not have respect for your people, because you wouldn't be out there like this. But, I don't think she's really a rebel. I just think she's somewhat honest about what she had to do to get to the position she's at. But, I don't see that as rebellious. Maybe rebellious to her parents, but I don't see it as rebellious. Go.
That's a great question. Don't let your baby mama or your baby daddy block your blessings. I know in theory it sounds good keeping the same person to have kids with, but that's insanity as well. So if it doesn't work out with them, it'll work out with someone else. Okay?
No, if it doesn't work out with them, it's probably not going to work out with someone else. Because at the end of the day, the common denominator is you, thought life. You, thought life. So you're gonna get another guy. He may knock you up. Okay, that's fine, but it's not gonna be a marriage. I doubt it.
It just will. That's how that goes. And trust me, I know it's ghetto. It is so ghetto being a baby mama, and thinking about multiple baby daddies is scary. But you and my baby gonna be all right. We're gonna be all right. So we're moving forward, onward, upward. Okay. I've had to ask myself, like, what am I willing to pay to be in my truth and to be the rebel? I think right now there is kind of like a burning at the stake. Like it is. That's how I feel. I feel like because I
see, they think that everyone is against them. That's why they're rebellious. The truth is, no one really cares. Like, hell, I ain't gonna lie. I'm just doing this video because it's interesting, and I'm eating off this shit. We just don't care. And the reason we don't care because we've already seen this story so many times. There's nothing new under the sun. We saw Superhead. We see the thought life, where it gets you. We know where this ends up. And there's no burning at the stake because you put yourself into a position where people can judge you, willy-nilly. Hell, I'm doing it now. But that's the position you put yourself into, and you're a grown-ass woman. Like, come on. Like, if you wanted to, you could have kept working that patient care, special needs, patients thing if you wanted, but you didn't. Because this is what you wanted to do. You wanted to live that fast life. All right, just the same way drug dealers, dudes who are hitters and dudes who are in that certain type of, lifestyle. This is what they do. Like, But when something happens to them, you know, maybe they people, but they put him on a T-shirt and he gave money to the kids. All right, but he was also like, a menace in the neighborhood. Like, okay, so that's the life you chose.
Tell my truth. I speak how I feel. That I have been crucified. I'm a very easy target.
Are you into the idea that like you can't just first and then start dating? Like, do you hold off if you want to be serious with someone, or do you want to?
I'm having sex.
All right, cool. I'm glad you're not like old school or anything.
No. I feel like that mentality, like, oh, if I just hold out, he'll really see my value. No, you won't. To me, family is everything. I didn't.
She was actually that's actually kind of the truth. Like I said, I'm not gonna say she's not telling her truth. Yeah, holding out that old school shit. Look, if you give it to me the first day, and I gotta be careful what I say, but if you give it to me the first day, am I gonna marry you? I don't know. Probably not. It just is what it is. But if you give it to me the second or third day, I'll definitely think about it. But she's right though. But again, there's a way of doing things. That, with the whole modern woman and with these rules, you got to make them do 3 or 4 days, and you got to spend this amount. That shit's not gonna work. And that shit worked for the previous generations, but nowadays, generation late Xers, millennials, and now as they call the Zoomer generation, the Z. Man, dudes in this in these age groups are not gonna be playing the old dating games of the 90s and the 80s and we're just not doing that shit anymore. And we're not dating babies' mothers or single mothers have you. We're not gonna do it. That's not what we're doing anymore. I know I don't date single mothers. I'm just gonna put that out there. So I don't have any kids. I'm not married, so I'm not gonna date anyone who has kids or is married. No. So it's just not worth it. It's not worth the trouble that comes with. So let's keep going.
I was raised with my grandparents, so for me, they did the best they could with the awareness they had. But my mom and dad, they never married, and my mom isn't married now. My dad is. And it's just like, for me, it's just always been a dream to have that in-household unit. And I just feel like, due to recent events, now it's like, yeah, it is stepdaddy season. And that wasn't my choice, even though it was my choice. Season. There were things that transpired where I just felt like, okay, I'm going to have to choose me. But yeah, I want a family, but it is going to take, honestly, at this point, I don't know who would want to sign up to be with me, and that's just being all the way transparent. I don't know.
So you see any
well, yeah, she's right. There's not too many guys who are gonna, especially as they like to call it, the high value male or whatever. No, it's not gonna happen. Because you might get that simp. You might get lucky and get that simp, but you all over the internet. I could just look you up. I ain't gonna lie. I started Googling these females. Let me see if you on Pornhub. You know what I'm saying? Let me see. Listen, how many Instagram followers you have? Some women have started picking up and they started getting it. So you'll see. It's funny now. Instagram 5 years ago, the average woman would have 10, 20, 30, 40,000 followers, right? You go to a lot of these pages now, they got like 30 followers and like 10 pictures, 15 pictures. And that is because a lot of these women are starting to pick up like, oh, these guys are not going to be taking us seriously when we have all these. If you got 100,000 subscribers and 95,000 of them are just thirsty ass dudes, I'm not gonna take you seriously because you might as well just be a stripper, and all you doing is showing your ass. it's softcore porn at the end of the day. I mean, if I ain't got to pay to see, I could just go on your Instagram and see your ass. Then yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. But you're not gonna get married. So a lot of these women have started to adapt their social media, started drastically reducing their followers. They started making their pages private now. I get it, but I ain't stupid either.
Similarities in you and your mother.
No. And I think too, when you hate something, it is natural that you become it. So I think you have to like, again, like dissolve, and then it just kind of becomes one thing and you're more balanced. So no, my mom and I were both very silly and like outgoing and crazy. But as far as being a parent, I couldn't see how I could be like either one of them. So I just recently did an interview with
well, it was interesting that she says that because she's also a single, unmarried mother, just like her mother, and she said she hated it, so she became it. So you're kind of you sound like you're just like your mother, because your dad probably remarried a more traditional woman than your mother, and here we are.
DJ Academics, and I feel like a lot of clips were taken and were like, she's this, you're just a side chick, like whatever the case may be. But I feel like because I tell the truth, my truth, it's just easy to pick on me. Like I don't really, because like, okay, I mean, I guess to get specific, the recent situation with my child's father, he's 6 years younger than me. They're saying that I planned it. It was just some evil plan that I had in my mind. And I experienced the worst people to deal with are the athletes. None of them use condoms, really. So if y'all really want to try to come up off a check off a man, you could just, they're really done. But that's not honest. What everyone else sees. That's not for me to sit here and try to convince people that, like, what it was. But I think this just is whole living logic. Out loud, like you said, it comes at this is cost. Whole logic. Whether you're talking about your experiences in a
this
book,
is whole logic.
Whether your relationship is public,
and that's honestly that's PJ Washington's fault. That's PJ Washington's fault. I'm not blaming Brittany Renner for being a thought life because it was already well known. I didn't know who Brittany Renner was until like a month ago, right? But it was already well known in those circles that I am not in. Who this chick was, just like it was already in those circles who Superhead was. Okay, so if he wanted to be the one to go in there, then so be it. But I honestly think PJ Washington is probably going to find another woman and marry that other woman, and she's going to be just like her mother.
Is a cost. My light is so bright that it causes all of the roaches to scatter in places they thought they could hide. It's just me being me. It just causes such...
We know Drake like... We know Drake like light-skinned hoes. You know.
Uproar. Like, loving yourself is such a rebellious act these days, you know? But I'm here to tell you, I am so not sorry. I can only...
It's the look of regret on her face that you can't really hide. You know, just from that little clip. Like, it's the look of regret that reveals her true feelings. She doesn't want to be in this position that she's in, but there's no way to really get out of it.
I only speak from my personal experience, and when I was with my child's father, there were kind of a certain set of expectations for that relationship. And if I didn't want to have to pay bills, didn't want to work, you could have the car, we're in the $1.6 million home, like, you really just kind of sit down, shut up, suck it, and be pretty. And that's cool. Like, some women sign up for that. But I do think, too, like you said, they are allowed to weigh their options. I can't remember the terminology that you used.
High value men don't cheat the exercise options.
Right, the exercise options. So to me, I feel like unless you are ready to comply to whatever demands or rules that they have, then how can I comfortably just say, I'm just all about family? I just get horny for the guy that I like. I just think about him inside me and just...
Do you think women want to be married and have children, have a community, more than men want to be married, have children in our community?
As a woman and as a woman of friend of women, I can tell you,
Friend of women. That's
the
one way
women
to
are
put it.
not. I don't make permanent decisions off of temporary emotions. I know change is constant, and I can think myself out of any situation if I have imagination. But it feels like the men, they might want marriage, but a lot of the same stories is, I get with a guy, I could see he's the one, I want a family with him, but he's a cheater. And that's how a lot of, like I said, personally speaking, I'm not speaking for all the women who are watching, or men, but I know relationships end for other reasons, but a lot of my friends have been cheated on, and it's almost like your hand is forced to either then accept it or move on. And to be honest with you, I am not going to sit here and act like I'm okay with putting my integrity, my self-respect on the line to be married.
So
It's so interesting that she says she's not going to put her integrity and self-respect on the line to be married, but she's already thrown her integrity and self-respect out the window, living this thought life publicly. It's kind of sad. At the same time, I don't really give a shit, but it's kind of sad because I know a lot of women like this. Now I let them go to the streets. You know, elevator engineer don't give a shit. You don't give a shit. Fuck that. I don't. But you know, this is a big contributor to the the breakdown of the black family. As Kevin Samuels like to say, it's a 25% marriage rate amongst modern women. So I would never even forget marriage. I'm talking about be seen in public with this shit. No. Just fun.
were you the side chick that calls in the middle of the night so she can roll over and see the phone? Or were you the side chick that knew you was going to link up at 2 o'clock, so you just had to wait?
I was a side chick that when Gene would call him, I would go in the other room and be quiet.
Yeah, you did.
That's the worst kind, too.
That's the MVP.
I think you said something about kissing
No,
him.
that's
Yeah,
what
sometimes
side
I
chicks
would like
supposed
kiss
to
him
do.
and try to distract him so
No,
he'd
no,
pick
no.
up the phone. And
No,
then,
no, no.
other
Don't
times
do
I would
that.
just go in the other room and be quiet or watch TV.
Yeah,
So
that's
when
better.
you wanted him, was that insecurity in yourself, or did you just?
So it's interesting because she says that she's a friend to women, and she would never want to give up her integrity and self-respect. But she's also a perpetual side chick who perpetually sleeps with married men. I mean, that's pretty much a contradiction. That just goes to show you can't really trust it. This is whole logic. Remember what I said. This is thought logic. This is whole logic. Whatever you want to call it. It doesn't make sense. But it's not supposed to. That's why it's destructive.
Want him and that was it? Like, have you broken down the psychological behind being a confident side chick?
I mean, I think anytime you're a side chick, there's something that you have to address that's going on internally. So I just didn't feel good enough for first. So I just didn't really, I'm like, it's not, it's not my problem. That's not my man, and I want him. So I don't really care what it takes and what it makes me look like. At the time, I didn't realize how much it really reflected on how empty I was and how low I felt about myself.
By any means.
So was the sex?
Yeah. I think that's. I think what she said. I'm gonna just end it there, because I think she pretty much said the truth. She, it was a reflection of how low she thought about herself. It's a reflection of how she views that she probably feels that she doesn't deserve a man. And look, there's somebody for everybody out there. There's somebody for everybody out there. So I'm not going to completely say she doesn't deserve a man, but it's just going to be very difficult, which is very interesting because she's not an ugly girl. I think that she could if she didn't carry herself a certain way, she could definitely be, you know, at that serious relationship level. I mean, her logic is that because she, you know, would be married to a high value man, then that man is automatically going to, you know, just sleep with other women. But that's not true at all. I mean, LeBron, I don't know, I'm not in his relationship, but LeBron has been with his wife since like high school. I mean, Steph has been with his Aisha Curry, yeah. but you get the point. So I think that, you know, a lot of these women have one foot in a relationship and one foot out, and they're always looking for their way out. And a lot of guys, up until probably the last 7 years, five to 7 years, we've always had both foot in the relationship. And, you know, with platforms like what they call the manosphere, with YouTubers like Jason Black, Kevin Samuels, and the like, you really kind of exposing that, you know, a lot of these women just view you as it's a utilitarian view. They just view you as what can you do for them at that time, and if things ever get rough, they're out. You know, and that's what Brittany Renner, I think she's an example of. I think she's also afraid of committing too, because she feels like she would lose that bit of control. But the truth is, when you're a high value male, you got a lot of stuff to lose. You have a certain image you got to keep. You can't be having your girl just out doing anything and everything, you know, without fear of consequences. And a traditional woman knows that. Like, a traditional woman understands that, yo, I can't be out here, because if I embarrass my man, that's going to affect my bag, because people will come after him, using me, being a woman. Women like Brittany Renner and the like, I mean, this is why they're side chicks. This is why they're not going to get married, because a guy like me looks at Brittany Renner like, that's too much. That's too much. She out there too much. She go mess up the bag being out there. She go bring some other dude in. You know, who knows what could happen with that. So a lot of the times, you know, we see women like that. We just like, all right, cool. She's for the streets. Let me do what I gotta do and send her ass right back, because nigga like me ain't gonna be dealing with the drama that comes with the side chick. And really, the side chick is the side for a reason. You got the main, you got the side. She would never be a marriageable chick. She doesn't have that pedigree. She doesn't have that maturity to be that. So, you know, that's why her friend is Tiana Trump. Because Tiana Trump ain't never gonna be. Come on, nobody's ever gonna marry Tiana Trump. And if you do, God help you, because it's gonna be a roller coaster nightmare. So, with that being said, that is my take. Oh, don't forget to drop a like, subscribe, hit that notification bell so you can get my latest updates, and drop a comment. Do you agree with me? Do you think I'm too harsh on Brittany Renner, or do you think I didn't go hard enough? So that's gonna be this episode of Elevated. Thanks again, engineering fam. We hitting all the chakras. We hitting all the chakra points. Don't get it wrong. We gonna get back to some quantum computing and stuff, but I gotta get this nigga shit out the way too. So, all right, engineering fam. That's it.